Well, I guess I heard about the program, the Super Designer Initiative, in my fourth year mechanical design class. Nathan Armstrong from Motive Industries came in to give a talk, and at the end of his talk about Motive Industries, he introduced the Super Designer Initiative, and he had a really neat video that seemed kind of different, and so I ended up going to the video and watching it again afterwards. It was on YouTube, and there were a few things you had to do. You had to put together an online submission, and I liked it because it did seem different. It wasn't, you weren't submitting a resume, you were submitting a video, so that was kind of cool. So I kind of waited probably a little too long, and then in the middle of exams, I threw together a video application and ended up actually getting through the process, I guess, and so I was selected to work at Tangent, and so that's where I'm at so far, I guess. As part of the design program, we've had a couple different training sessions we're using a sort of state-of-the-art software. It's called CATIA, and CATIA is it's great for collaboration. So that was one of the other cool things about the initiative, is that we could sit down and from my computer in my office, I could collaborate with another intern in another office. And so the software was quite complicated. So we had these training sessions to introduce us to it. And then following that, we've had a couple of sessions with all the other sort of interns for the initiative, and where we've sort of sat down and talked about a few different things related to design and how to be design. And our most recent one was about mentoring and coaching, and that one was neat. So that was a little more less on the technical CATIA side of things. So I thought that was neat, and that was sort of, I know Jason mentioned it in the thing in the meeting too, that was sort of what he signed up when he signed up. He was signing up for sort of these sort of sessions about how to kind of like get in there and go for it, sort of to a way to be introduced to thinking in new ways. So I guess that was probably another one of the reasons. So I'm June, July, August, September, October. I'm three and a bit months in now. And I've been using the software, and I've been doing a little bit of talking to the other interns about design and things like that. And so far it's been a very positive experience for me. Definitely a learning curve, but it's been really good. I guess today I had the opportunity to sit down with Daryl and Souza, and we went over sort of sort of who I am in terms of how I think and that sort of thing, with the approach, in my perspective, with the approach of how I can after I understand how I think, how I can move forward with that understanding, and sort of in the pursuit of almost enhancing the way that I think, in taking that to a new level in design and that sort of thing. So that's what we went with today. One of the ways that was done was I was given sort of a bunch of different mechanical components, and I sort of had to look at them and see how I could apply different things that I know about. So sort of take analogies from real life and how I can apply that to the thing that's sitting in front of me. And I think the message there is pretty powerful. Like, the symbolism there is neat, that you can really take anything that you have in your bank of history and you can apply it to other things. It is very difficult to look at yourself critically through coming up, sort of thinking about the way you think is a very difficult thing to do, and it can be kind of intimidating, I guess. That was one of the things that I found. Then after we sort of went through that exercise, we did an exercise where I thought about one of the things that I'm sort of not so much proud of, but a time that I got sort of energized about something that I had accomplished, and we broke that through how I actually came to accomplishing that task. And that was actually pretty interesting to see. When you really take a step back and see the steps that you work through, you can see how that can apply to other things. So that was a neat exercise, I think. And now I think I can actually really apply that and see, or at least think about how I might start to apply that, because you can't. I think it would be difficult to take every situation, and even stuff now I'm halfway through, I don't know if I could really. I suppose the next next steps of a project. I could sort of say, hey, if I'm stuck, I could go see what could I do. So that will be neat. I hope that the remainder of the initiative continues to have things like this, because I think this sort of personal development stuff is important, and I think it's very rare for a fresh grad like myself to get this sort of one-on-one thing. And especially in such a different way. It's not one-on-one in terms of you're going to learn this like quality management system or something like that. It's sort of how you're going to manage yourself, so that's pretty neat. Personally, one of the reasons why I signed up and one of the directions that I want to go is in terms of looking at the way that things are visually presented to us. So even in terms of if you're building a tool even to be used in the well site, there's ways that you can look at that and present it in a way that it makes more sense. It's sort of the design end of things, looking at things less about their function and not less about their function, but just including the element of how they're used and how they appear, I guess, to everybody. And so I guess that work, I'd like to work towards an increased understanding of sort of the design, the industrial design, how we interact with things. I hope by the end of this I can sort of, I've applied that, or I've learned a little more about it and maybe gotten the chance to apply it somewhere. So yeah, so far these are my experiences, and I think it's going well.